last week is set to take plea today. Sudi last week moved to the High Court to challenge a decision by a lower court to detain him for 7 more days as the National Cohesion and Integration Commission and the police investigate several charges leveled against him by the state, ranging from hate speech to resisting arrest. Our reporter Alan Ochanda is live for us from the ground and now joins us for more details. Alan, what more do we know so far?
Well, Michelle, it's been a bumpy ride for Oscar Sudi, the Member of Parliament for Kapseret MP, who has been really up and down in the last 2 weeks, where he was accused of uttering words that amounted to hate speech, among other charges that were pressed against him in this court in Nakuru. And remember that he was released on a bail of 500,000 shillings, and his prayer for the extension of the bail terms to continue has been heard here by Senior Principal Magistrate Lilian Arika, and he was represented by a battery of lawyers here led by Wakili Kipngetich Koech here. And let me just engage him about the decision of the court, the verdict of the court, now that your client has been set free here. And remember that initially you had prayed that some charges be dropped because he was facing 5 charges. Were the 5 charges still standing today, or some of them were dropped?
Thank you very much, Alan Ochanda. This afternoon, Honorable Lilian Arika, the Senior Principal Magistrate Nakuru, has been able to take Sudi through his own plea. And from what we've seen, we only have 3 counts. The first count is on hate speech, the second one is on hate speech, and the third one is on offensive conduct. The other intended counts, the count of being in possession of a firearm, the other intended count of being in possession of ammunition, all those other counts have been dropped, and we only had 3 counts which were coming for plea. And as I've said, that is hate speech number 1, 2, and number 3 is offensive conduct. Of course, as we've said, he's been admitted on a bond of Kenya shillings 500,000, the same terms which had been granted by the High Court through Justice Professor Joel Ngugi. And this case is going to be mentioned on the 6th of October 2020, when we expect to have a hearing date and have this case commence trial expeditiously.
Nice. Well, you remember that initially the court had barred the Kapseret Member of Parliament, Oscar Sudi, from addressing crowds and uttering the same words that landed him in the corridors of justice. Does the same barring still stand in this verdict of today?
Thank you very much. What Honorable Lilian Arika, Senior Principal Magistrate, has done is to adopt the same terms as granted by Professor Joel Ngugi, and the terms were that he will not be able to address any political rally during the pendency of investigations. But once he takes plea, which he is done, he is now at liberty as a Member of Parliament to continue articulating issues through political rallies or through whichever avenues he can use, through whichever fora he can use as a Member of Parliament. Because as a Member of Parliament, he must continue engaging, he must continue talking to his people, he must continue addressing the nation outside and inside Parliament. So those conditions slapped by Professor Ngugi have been fulfilled, and they are now overtaken by time, particularly the one on inability to address political rallies. That one is a spent condition.
Nice. Thanks so much, Wakili. We shall be catching up later. Well, Michelle, those are the sentiments from Oscar Sudi's lead counsel here, Wakili Kipngetich here in Nakuru. And remember that all the charges, the 5 charges, they prayed that the court drops 2 charges, because remember that one of the charges was assaulting a police officer, and they were arguing that it was not quite practical for the MP to assault the police officer when he was absent during the time the police officer was assaulted. And also improper and illegal possession of a firearm was also dropped. And so the only 3 charges that were pressed against him was actually bordering on incitement and uttering words that could just elicit animosity among the ethnic communities in the area. And so it's a story that is also still just keeping an eye here to see as to how it will be progressing in Nakuru.
Many thanks, Alan Ochanda, there live for us from Nakuru. Now, the debate on whether President Uhuru Kenyatta